and block level. And after that, I said recursion, right? And I said this recursion required. And after that, I said how to work with which functions? Callback function. Okay. And after that, I said how to work with a nested function. I said a function within the function is called as a nested function. And what is the need of nested functions is, so nested functions are used to develop a special functions like which one? Closures. This nested function is used to divide the functionality into number of functions here. So this is another example where you are trying to write a function inside what? Function. So inside the calculator function, there is a function called add. There's a function called sub. There's a function called multiply. And there is a function called divide. So where all these functions are defined inside one function called which one? Calculator. So in this case, add, sub, multiply, and divide. All these functions are called which functions here? Nested functions. Right? So then I said these nested functions are used to develop some special functions. Okay, to develop a special function. And what is that function is? Closure function. Okay, there is a function called which one? Closure function. Okay, closures. Closure is a special function. What is a closure is? A closure is a special function in JavaScript. Okay, closure is a special function. Closure is a special function in what here? JavaScript. Okay. So this function performs operation. This function performs operation using data of which function here? Outer function. So what is the use of closure function is? What is the use of closure function is? So here closure function avoids or closure function provides data hiding. Closure function provides data hiding or avoid declaring which variables? Global variables, by making the data as a private. Closure function provides data hiding or avoids declaring which variables? Global variables, by by declaring a data as what? Global, local. So what is a closure function is? Closure is a special function in JavaScript, and this function performs operation using data of which function? Outer function. And closure function provides data hiding or avoids declaring which variables? Global variables. What is the meaning of this is? It is now closure is an inner function which perform operation using data of which function? Outer function. Okay. Closure is an inner function which performs operation using the data of which function? Outer function. So why we have to go for closures? Let us see with a small example here. Okay, let us see a small example like why we have to go for closure. So there are different reasons why we have to go for closure function. There are different reasons why we have to go for closure functions.
Recording in progress.
There are different reasons why we have to go for which function? Closure function. Okay. So what I'm doing, I'm writing a function like this. Okay, function. Okay, there is a function, and what is the name of this function is power is a function. What is the name of the function? Power is a function, and this function will receive the number as well as which one? Power. This function will receive the number as well as which one? Power, right? How many values this function required here? Two values. One is a number and one more is a power. And this function will find the power of a number. I'm saying result. I'm saying let result equal to, okay, num to the power of p. Let result equal to num to the power of p. And after finding the result, I just return the value of what? Result. This is a simple function. And what is the name of this function? Power is a function. What is the name of the function? Power is a function. And this function receive how many values here? Two values. So the first value is a number and second value is what? P. Okay, so let the result equal to num to the power of p. Then return what here? Result. Suppose, okay, assume that I want to find the power of a number. Then I'm saying R1 equal to power. I call the function power by sending 4, 2. Okay, so I try to send how many values here? Two values. One is a 4 and one more value is a 2. So what is the value of number here? 4. And what is the value of p here? 2. So that is 4 to the power of 2. That result is written into which variable? Result. And this result is assigned to which variable? R1. Okay. Then let R2 equal to, I call the function power by sending 4 to the 4 comma, I just write here what? 3. So next time I call this function by sending how many values? Two values. The value of number is a 4 and the value of p is what here? 3. The value of number is a 4 and the value of p is a 3. Then 4 to the power of 3 and that result is assigned to which variable? R2. Then again I am saying let R3 equal to power. I just write here 4, 4. So what is the value of number here? 4. And what is the value of p here? 4. So it will find 4 to the power of 4. And this result is assigned to which variable? R3. Now if you see all these function calls, one value is a common, right? Which one is a common here? Number. Which one is a common here? Number. But only which one is changing here? Power. Number is the same, but power is what here? Different. So you are sending same value again and again. You are sending the same value again and again, right? You are sending 4 to the power of 2, 4 to the power of 3, 4 to the power of what? 4. So is it number is the same or not? Yes. So instead of making this number as an argument, what will I do is I make this number as what here? Global. I make this number as which variable? Global variable, where I'll say number equal to what? 4. Where I'll say number equal to 4. If I say number equal to 4, is it this number will become a global variable or not? Yes. Then I need to send only one value. Which value I should send? I should send only one value. Which value I should send? Power value. So what is the value of power here? 2. So what is the value of number here? 4. And 4 to the power of 2, the result is written here. Then 4 to the power of 3, the result is written here. And 4 to the power of 4, the result is written into which variable? Result. And this result is assigned to what? R3. But here, number is which variable? Global variable. But is it global? This number is which variable? Global variable. But is it global variable is having any security? Is it global variable is having any security? No. Security means now this variable can access by any function or not? Yes. This variable can be accessed by any function, but I want this variable should used by which function? Power function, but I should not use, or this variable should not used by any other function. This variable should not used by any other function. I want this variable should used by only which function? Power function, but it should not used by any other function. Not used by any other function. Then what do you do it? You close this data. What do you do it? You close this data and the function. You close this data and function inside what? Another function. You close this data and function inside another function. It is just like encapsulation. It is just like a encapsulation. What do you do in encapsulation? You group. What do you group? The data as well as what? Functions. You group the data as well as functions within one container. So here also the same thing. Closure. Closure is a function which contain the data and the function which operate on that data. So whatever variables are there inside the function, that variables or the data is used by only which function? Outer function, but the data cannot use by any other function. Suppose if I don't include here, now is it this variable is a local or global? Global. Is it global variable can used by any function or not? Yes. Global variable can used by any function. Global variable doesn't have what? Security. This data can access by any function available within the script. Any function available within the script. That is a global scope, right? Any function available within the script tag, this variable can be accessible or not? Yes. But I don't want this variable should access by any function available in the script. I want this variable to be accessed by only which function available in the script? Power function. Then what I'm doing, I'm trying to group this function as well as this data. This function as well as this data inside. Okay, this function as well as data inside another function. Means I'm closing it. Inside one function. What is the name of this function? Function 1. What is the name of this function? Function 1. So function 1. Now if you see function 1, within function 1 there is one variable. What is the name of this variable? Number. Is it number is a global variable or local variable? Local variable. And this local variable can be used anywhere within the function or not? Yes. This is not a global. This is local variable. And this variable can be used anywhere within the function. Is it this local variable can be used in nested block or not? Yes. I can use this number inside which function? Power function. Inside which function? Power function. Okay. Now this power function is using the data of which function? Outer function. Okay. But in order to find the power of this number, I required which function? Alright, to find the power of a number, what I required? I required which function? Power function. But is it this function is hidden within what? Function 1. So closure is a function. Closure is a function which returns another function. Closure is a function which returns what? Another function. Closure is a function which returns. Okay. Which returns which function? Another function. Means which function is returned here? Power function. Okay. Now whenever you want to find out the power of a number 4, what will I do? I'll say function. Okay. I'm saying function 4. I just write here P4 equal to function 1. Now, whenever I call the function, what will happen? Whenever I call the function, what will happen? The control is switched. Control is switched to which one? Function 1. And what this function 1 is returning? What this function 1 is returning? Power. Now, P4 is nothing but P4 is having a reference of which function? Power function. And this power function receive which value? P. But P4 is a reference which is referring to which function? Power function. And this power function is using which number? 4. This power function is using which number? 4. Now, whenever I say P4 of 2, P4 of 2, now P4 is referring to which function? Power function, and sending the value called which one? 2. And then let the result equal to 4 to the power of which one? 2. Then if I'm saying P4 of 3, then P4 is referring to which function? Power function, where I'm sending the value called which one? 3. This is nothing but 4 to the power of 3. If I'm saying P4 of, okay, P4 of 5, then it will call the function called power by sending the value called which one? 5. This is nothing but, no, this is nothing but 4 to the power of 5. 4 to the power of 5. So closure, what is the need of closure now? These are different usages of using which one? Closure. So closure is a function which perform operation using the data of which function? Closure is a function. Closure is a function which perform the operation using the data of which function? Outer function. And closure is the inner function which uses the data of outer function, and this achieves which one here? Data hiding. This achieves what here? Data hiding. You are achieving data hiding by using which one? Closure. Okay, you are achieving this data hiding by using which one here? Closure. Okay, see here. Closure is a special function in JavaScript, and this function performs operation using a data of order function, and closure function provides data hiding or avoids declaring which variables? Global variables. You are making the data as what here? Private. Okay. Yes. So in closures, you required how many functions here? 2 functions. One is outer function and one more is a inner function. So closure required how many functions here? 2 functions. One is outer function. Okay, outer function, and second one is a inner function. Okay, outer function which receive data, outer function which receives data and return reference of which function? Inner function. Outer function which receives data and return reference of which function? Inner function. Inner function performs operation using data received by which function? Outer function. Received by which function? Outer functions here. Outer function which receives data and return reference of which function? Inner function. And inner function performs operation using a data received by which function? Outer function. Outer function. Just to see here. For example, yes. Now closures even generate closure function generate functions. I mean, it returns new functions which can be used to perform the operation on the same data. Even function execution is what? Completed. Even function execution is completed. Now, see what is the name of the function is. I'll tell you some more examples, but just try to understand. What is the name of the function here? Find power. Find power is a function, and this will receive what? Number. So is it function arguments or local variables or not? Yes. Function arguments are which variables? Local variables. Function arguments are which variables? Local variables, right? Okay. So those who want to see the mobiles, right? Mobiles, not interested, they can leave. Okay, now don't waste the time here. Okay, go to hostel and sleep. Okay, those who see the mobiles, not interested, go to the hostel. Go to the hostel and sleep, or go to the road. बाहर जाके बैठो, रोड पे बैठ के उधर इधर देखते रहो. Okay, just sit in the middle of the X road, just see vehicles. Okay. Yes. Don't come to the class. Okay. If you are watching mobile, not interested. Okay ना, वहां पे चेयर अरेंज करो बोले तो कर तुम, वो भी कर तुम। वहां पे बैठ के देखते रहो उधर इधर, कौन हेलमेट पहने, कौन हेलमेट नहीं पहने, पूरा देखते रहो उधर। हाँ, कुछ लिखते नहीं, कुछ नहीं यार। हाँ, आई एम सेइंग डोंट सी द मोबाइल। लेजी, देखो तो मेरे को नींद आ रहा। What is the name of the function here? Find power is a function, and this function will receive the number, right? After receiving the number, right? Okay. So this find power doesn't find the power of a number. Okay, it will use another function. It uses which function here? Another function, right? What is the name of that function? Power function. And this power function, what it will receive? Power of a number. See here, this argument is which variable? Local variable. This is which variable? Local variable. So inner function uses data of which function? Outer function. And this will find the power of that number. Some result equal to num to the power of p. Num to the power of p, and then return what it is returning here? Result. So outer function receive the data and return. Outer function receive the data and return which function? Inner function. Outer function returns the outer function receive the data and return which function? Inner function. What is this inner function here? Power. Okay, return the inner function. Return the inner function. Now it is return the inner function, and what is the name of that function? Power. Now suppose, assume that I want to find the power of a 4. Then what will I do? I'll say find the power. I send a value called 4. But is it find the power will find the power of a number? No. Find the power will not find the power of a number. Find the power will receive only number and return which function? It will receive only a number and return which function? Power function. It is returning which function here? Power function. And this power function is using what? Number. What is the number I send? 4. It is a literal or not? Yes. Even though execution of function is completed, is it this inner function is able to hold the value of outer function or not? Yes. Because is it this value is referenced or unreferenced? Reference. Now suppose, okay, now this find power is not finding the power of a number, but it just received the number and written address of which one? Power. So some p power function. This is power function, as is right here, power function 4. Power function 4 will find the power of which number? 4. Now, whenever I want to find the power of 4, what will I do? I just write here, now some result 1 equal to power function 4, okay, by sending the value called 2. So what the power function 4 is holding? It is holding the address of which function? Power function 4 is holding the address of which function? Power function. Now, whenever I am saying power function 4, it is calling which function? Power function by sending only which one? Power. See, the data is the same, but you are doing different. Alright, data is the same, but you are doing different. Same data, but you are finding different powers. Same data, you are finding the different powers. But is it this number is a global? No. If I say if I make this number as a global, then that global can access by either one function or more than one function. Suppose let some result equal to power. Let the result equal to power function 4. I send a value called which one? 3. So first one will find the power of which one? 2. Second one will find the power of which one? 3, which is nothing but 4 to the power of 2 and 4 to the power of 3. But are you sending the number every time? Are you sending the number every time? No, you are sending the number how many times? One time. And the same number is used by inner function to perform different powers or not? Yes. Okay, suppose, assume that I want to find the power of 5. Then what will I do? I'll say power function what? 5 equal to find power by sending the value called which one? 5. I call the function find power by sending the value called which one? 5. What is the value of number here? 5. And then return which function? Power function. Power function 5 is holding the reference. Power function 5 is holding the reference of which function? Power function. But this power function is using number, right? What is the number it is used? 5. Then suppose I want to find the power of 5. Then I am saying result 3. Result 3 equal to power. Okay, power function 5. I send the value 2. This is nothing but 5 to the power of 2. Now I am saying let result 4 equal to power 5. I send the value called which one? 3, which is nothing but 5 to the power of 3. Now I want to find the power of 4. What will I do? Or I want to find the power of 4. What will I do? Okay, I'll say result 5 equal to which function I'm calling? Power 4 function by sending the value called 4. It's nothing but power 4. Power 4 holding the reference of which one? Power. But this power 4 function is holding the which value? 4. But even though function execution is completed or not? Yes. Even though function execution is completed, still this value is used or not? Yes. So closure is the outer function which perform operation using which one? Closure is the inner function which perform operation using the data of which function? Outer function. Okay. And closure function receive the data and return the reference of which function? Inner function. And this inner function performs operation using the data of which function? Outer function. I'm just writing console dot log result 1, result 2, result 3. Okay, result 3, result 4, and one more is a result 5. So console dot log result 1, result 2, result 3, result 4, and result 5. Now you can see so result 5. Now you can see 16, 64, 25, 125, and one more is what? 256. Okay. So you have to understand when to go for a closure. If this closure is not there, then you have to declare this number as what? Or if this closure is not there, you have to declare this number as what? Global. If this closure is not there, you have to declare this number as what? Global. And that global number is used to perform different powers. Getting on or not? So instead of that, you're just writing one function. You are writing one function. Inside that function, you are writing another function, and that function performs operation using the data of which function? Outer function. Okay, suppose I'll tell you one more example of this closure. So all these are useful in application development, but you should know it how to write this closure. functions here. For example, so there is a function. Okay, now this is a function. Okay, so there is a function. Function is there. So function. So there is a, okay, I just take the function called which one? Calculator. Calculator is a function. Calculator is a function, and this function, you may give the input, right? So this function will receive two numbers. So there is a number 1 and there is one more number called number 2. So calculator is a function, and this function receives how many inputs here? 2 inputs. The first one is number 1. Second one is what? Number 2. Then after receiving the number, then I should do some calculations. After receiving the numbers, after receiving a number, I should do some calculations. But same data, I should do different calculations. Okay, same data, I should do different calculations, means different operations. Then these operations are done by using another function. So there is a function called, which one here? Calculate. So this calculate, what it will do is, it will receive the operator. What calculate is doing, it is receiving one operator. So calculator is receiving a number, and calculate is receiving which one? Operator to perform the operation on this numbers. But same operation or different operation? Different operation. Suppose if the operator is a plus, then I want to add these two numbers. If the operator is a minus, then I should subtract these two numbers. But same numbers, but different. Same numbers, but different operations, right? Suppose switch. Okay, so let some result equal to 0. So I'm saying a switch. Switch what here? Operator. Switch operator. Okay, switch operator. And if the operator is a, now I'm saying case, if the operator is a plus, if the operator is a plus, what I'm doing is, I'm saying return, okay, number 1 plus number 2. Case, if the operator is a minus, I'm saying here return number 1 minus number 2. Number 1 minus number 2. Case, if the operator is a star, I'm saying here return, okay, number 1 into number 2. Sorry, number 1 into, so number 1 into number 2. Case, if the operator is a slash, then I'm saying return number 1 divided by, number 1 divided by what here? Number 2. Okay, now I can return directly. I don't require to declare a variable called which one? Result. Because directly it is returning all the values or not. Yes. So default return. Okay, default return which one? So what is it value? You can return the value called which one? Null. So default is a null. Means if you don't give plus, minus, star and slash, what is the value it is written here? Null. Okay, now this is a calculator, and this calculator receive how many numbers here? 2 numbers, and then do how many operations? Different operations on the same data or different data? Same data. Data is the same, but you are doing different. So it receive the values and return. Outer function receive the values and return and return the reference of which function? Inner function. Return the reference of which function? Inner function. So calculator is returning which function? Calculate function to perform which operations? Calculating operations. Suppose assume that I want to create a calculator 1. So calc 1 equal to calculator, I'm sending 10 comma 2. So now your calculator is written which object here? Calculate. Now calc 1 here, calc 1 hold the reference of which one? Calculate. And this calculator, see, to this calculator I send how many values? 2 value. So what is the value of number 1? 10. What is the value of number 2? 2. So the value of number 1 is 10. The value of number 2 is what? 2. So after receiving 2 values, it is written which function? Calculate. Means on these 2 numbers you can do different, or on these 2 numbers you can do different calculations. On these 2 numbers you can do different calculations. What are those calculations you can do? Suppose let result 1 equal to calc 1 of, I'm sending an operator called which one? Plus. What will happen in this case? Is it these 2 numbers are added or not? Yes. Okay, then I'm saying let result 2 equal to calc. Okay, result 2 equal to calc. I'm sending the value called which one? Minus. Now when I say calc 1, calc 1 is referring to which function? Calculate function. And this calculate function received which operator? Minus. Switch operator. Is it operator is a minus or not? Yes. Return number 1 minus number 2. Number 1 minus number 2. I'm saying let calc 2 equal to calculator. Okay, let calc 2 equal to calculator, where I'm saying suppose 20 comma 5. Now this time your calculator is received how many values? 2 values. Now first value of the calculator is what? 20. Second value of calculator is what? 5. On this calculator you are doing how many? And it received the 2 values and written which one? Calculate. Now this calc 2, using this calc 2, you can do different operations on these 2 numbers or not? Yes. You can add these 2 numbers, you can subtract these 2 numbers, you can multiply these 2 numbers, you can divide these 2 numbers. For that you are saying let result 3 let result 3 equal to calc 2 of I'm doing an operation called which one? Star. Okay, let result 4 equal to calc 2 of, okay, I want to do the operation called which one? Slash. Okay, let result 5 okay equal to calc 1 of, I want to do the operation called which one? Star. Calc 1 is referring to calc 1 is referring to which one? Calculate. Calc 1 is referring to which one? Calculate. And this calculate function receive which one? Operator. But is it execution of function is over, but still is it this number and number 2? Number 1 and number 2 is used or not used? Used. So what will happen if I say calc 1? Calc 1 refers to what? Calculate. And this calculate receive what? Star. What is the operator? Star. Then return number 1 into number 2. What is the number 1 and number 2 in calc 1? Or what is the number 1 and number 2 in calc 1? 10 and 2. Is it this 10 into 2? The result is written into what here? Result 5. Okay. So console dot. See, same data but different. Are you sending the same data again and again? You are not sending the same data again and again. You are sending the data how many times? 1 time. And you are performing different operations on the same data. Okay. But if you are not sending it, then you have to declare that data as what? Global. But what is the problem when you declare the data as a global? That data can access by any function. But I don't want that data to be accessed by any function. Then data and functions, the data and function both you put inside one function. Data and function both you put inside one function. Now whenever you want to perform any operation on that data, okay, so the outer function is returning the reference of which function? Inner function. Okay, so console dot log. So there is R1 is there, R2 and R5 I have written. Then console dot log. So I try to print some R3 comma R4. Okay, yes. Now in this case, operator. Now in this case 10, 8, 20. And next one is 100 and what is that? 4. So 12, 8, 20 and 104, right? Same data. See, same data but different operation. Same data. Okay, same data. Suppose same header, you want different. See, same header is there. Header is the same, but you want to perform different outputs. Different outputs based on which one? Operator. Different outputs based on which one? Operator. Yes. Just try to understand. This is called as a which function here? Closer. This is called as a closer function. But this function you develop it. Okay, this function you develop it by using inner functions. Okay, this function you develop it using inner functions here. This is what is closer. What is closer in JavaScript here? A closer is a combination of function bundled together with a reference to its surrounding state, which is called as lexical environment. In other words, a closer gives you access to outer function scope from which function? Inner function. So when to use closer? Closers are frequently used in JavaScript for object data privacy. I said, for object data privacy. In event handler and callback functions, and in partial applications, okay, carrying or other functional programming patterns. So you'll try to use which function here? Closer function. Okay. So object data privacy. I said, object data privacy. Okay. If you declare the data as a global, that global data can be used by any function. That global data is used by any function here. Okay. Now this is a simple example. Function say hello is there. Yeah, see here, this is a global execution context. Now this is called as which variable? Global variable. Okay, and this is function. Function is there. And this function is having some data, right? And this you call it as which variable? Local variable. And within this function, there is another function called which one? Bar. And inside this, you are using x plus y plus what? Z. But x is which variable? Global. And y is which variable? Outer block variable. Z is which variable? Local variable. And return output. And this is returning which function? Bar. Bar is nothing but which function? Inner function. So inner function reference is written by which function? Order function. Same thing. But this is where exactly closer function is used, right? Yes. Then next we'll see working with the object types. So here working with the object types in what? JavaScript. Object type in JavaScript, right? Working with the object type in JavaScript. How can you work with the object type in JavaScript, right? Okay. Object type. Now already we have seen some data types, right? Already we have seen some data types like working with which data type? Number type. Okay. Working with the number and working with the string. Working with the number, working with the string, and working with which one? Boolean. Like this, we have seen already some data types. Okay. But number represent one number. So that number can be either integer. That number can be either which one? Float. Yes or no? Okay, but I want to represent which type here? Object type. So whenever you're talking about object, right? Now JavaScript. Okay, JavaScript is which language? Object oriented. Okay. So JavaScript is object oriented programming language. JavaScript is an object-oriented programming language. Okay. But here object-oriented is not a language. Here object-oriented is not a language, right? Object-oriented is what? It is a programming. It is a programming what? Paradigm. Object oriented is not a language. Object oriented is what here? Programming paradigm, which define is a programming paradigm. A programming paradigm define define what here? Set of rules and what? Regulations to organize. Set of rules and regulations to organize. Okay, to organize data and what here? Instructions, right? So object oriented is not a language. Like Java is object oriented, C++ is object oriented, and even your JavaScript is also what? Object oriented. Your .NET is object oriented, right? But object oriented is a language? No. Object oriented is not a language. It is a programming paradigm. What a programming paradigm define? A programming paradigm defines some set of rules and regulations to organize the data and what here? Instructions. So whenever you are talking about object, what is object? Generally you'll say object is a real world entity. Okay, what is the object? What is object? An object is a real world. An object is a real world entity. An object is a real world entity. Now, whatever you see in the real world can be treated as what? One object. You'll say chair is object, fan is object, car is object, keyboard is object, mobile is object, monitor is object, mouse is object. All these are what? Objects. Getting on? So anything you find in real world which is physically exists, that you can call it as which one? Object. Which is physically exists, that is called as which one? Object. An object is a real world entity, and every object is having two characteristics. Every object is having two characteristics. One is called as a state. Every object is having two characteristics. One is properties and one more is which one? Behavior. Every object is having two properties. Every object is having two characteristics. One is called as a properties and one more is what? Behavior. Properties define the state of the object. Properties define the state of the object, and behavior define the functionality of the object. For example, if we take student is one object and student is having some properties. What are the properties of a student? Roll number, name and course. What are the properties of a student? Roll number, name and course. Suppose if we take debit card is an object. If we take debit card is an object, is having some properties like customer name, issue date, expiry date, debit card number, CVV, all these are properties of which one? Debit card. So an object represents one value or more than one value? More than one value. An object represents one value or more than one value? More than one value, right? So every object is having two characteristics. One is called as a properties and second one is a behavior. Properties defines which one? State of the object. Okay, properties define the state of the object, and behavior defines the functionality. Behavior defines the functionality of the object. So properties defines, what properties defines here? State of the object. State means the data held by the, state is nothing but data held by the object. State is nothing but data held by which one? Object. And behavior is nothing but functionality. or you can call it as operations of the object. Operations of the object. Object type. Just try to understand. It is similar to a structure in C language. It is similar to a structure type in which language? C. You develop a structure called date, which contain date, month, and year. Yes or no? Okay, structure is a data type which contain date, month, and year. Time is a data type which contain hours, minutes, and seconds. Getting on. So when it comes to the JavaScript, you find which type you call it as object type. Object type. This is one more question. Object type. Object type. Object. Object type or object in object. Object in what here? JavaScript. Here. Object in JavaScript. So what is object? What is object in Java? See, object properties. Yes, both primitive values or other values and functions. An object method is object property contain a function definition. See here, object is having both properties as well as what? Behavior. Behavior is nothing but what here? Functions. Behavior is nothing but what here? Functions. Here, object property can be both primitive values or other objects, and functions and functions also. An object method is object property containing. See, an object method is an object property containing what? A function definition. Even an object property can be defined as what here? Function. Let us see with the example so that you can understand what exactly it is. In JavaScript, an object is a standalone entity with properties and what? Type. So compare it with a cup. For example, a cup is an object with properties. A cup has a color, a design, weight, and a material. It is made, etc. The same way, JavaScript object contain what? Properties which define their what? Characteristics. What properties define here? Characteristics of the object or data held by the object or state of the object. Then how to create the object? Now, I said, every object is having two characteristics. One is the properties and one more is what? Behavior. And properties define the state of the object, which is nothing but data held by the object. And behavior define the functionality of the object. But even this behavior is also treated as which one? Property. This behavior also treated as one property of which one? Object. This behavior also treated as one property of object, which is bind with one function. A property which is bind with a function, right? A property is not only bind with a value, a property also bind with what here? Function. Property, see here in object type, property is bind with value, or a property is bind with what? A property is bind with which one? Function. A property is bind with a function that defines what? Behavior. The property which is bind with the function that define what? Behavior. A property is bind with a value, or a property is bind with what? Function. Let us see with an example here. A property bind with a value, or a property bind with which one? Function. For example, assume that suppose I want to represent. So I want to represent whose data? Student data. So student is there. What is student here? Object type. And I said object is having properties as well as what? Behavior. So there is a property. What is a property? Roll number. And this property and value separated with colon. So what is the roll number of the student? 101. What is the roll number of the student here? 101. So what is a student? I can say console.log. Console.log type of which one? Sorry, type of which one? Student 1. Type of student 1. Student 1 is of which type? Student 1 is which type? Object type. And this object is having how many properties? One property. What is the property name? Roll number. What is the value of this roll number? 101. The value of this roll number is what? 101. I'm saying console dot log. I just write here student 1 dot. What is the property you are accessing? Roll number. What is the value of student 1 roll number? What is the value of student 1 roll number? 101. Okay. So now suppose comma. I try to define comma. I try to define one more property. What is the name of this property? Name. And the name of this is what? Naresh. Okay, comma. I'm trying to define one more property, course. And the course of this student is what here? JS. That is JavaScript. Now I want to read all this data. Then I'm saying student 1 dot, student 1 dot, student 1 dot, which one? Name. Student 1 dot, student 1 dot, which one I'm saying here? Course. So what is the name of the, what is the roll number of the student 1? 101. What is the name of the student 1? Sorry. What is the name of the student? What is the course of the student 1? JS. Now, if you see this, you can find 101 narration what? J. But it is which type? Or it is which type here? Object type. But object type. But object hold which one? Properties. How many properties are there? 3 are there. One is roll number, name, and one more is a course. But a property bind with a value. A property bind with a value, or a property bind with what? Function. A property bind with a value, or a property bind with which one? Function. For example, let student 2 is there. So student 2, now this is student 2, and what student 2 is having? Roll number. Now student 2 is having roll number. Okay. And student 2 is having roll number. So there is a name. Student 2 is having a name. Okay. Comma. And student 2 is having a course. Now here roll number, name and course. Okay. Roll number, name and course. Roll number, name and course. These are called which one? Properties. Okay. And a property is bind with a value, or a property is bind with what? Function. So what is the name of the property I'm writing? Suppose I just write here get. Okay, I'm just writing here get roll number. What is the name of the property? Get roll number. And this get roll number should get what? This get roll number should get what? This get roll number should get what? Roll number. Get roll number should get what? Roll number. Get roll number should get what here? Roll number of the student. See, generally how you are accessing the roll number? How you are accessing the roll number? You are accessing the roll number using a property called which one? Roll number. You are accessing it by using a property called which one? A roll number. But even you can access that property. You can access that value by using some function, or you can manipulate the data. I mean, you can manipulate. You can write a function that manipulates. You can write a function that manipulates which one here? Data. So the object not only having a data. Okay, now the object not only having a data, it is also having which one? Functions. How to write functions, I'll tell you. Okay, now there is a roll number, stud2 dot. There is one more which is called as a, sorry, stud dot. There is one more property called name. Stud dot. There is one more property called which one? Course. So how many values are there here? 3 values are there. Okay. So this is 101. 101. Okay, now this is 102, and Suresh, and what is that? UI. So you are representing data as which type here? Or you are representing data as which type here? Object type. Okay, you are representing data as which type here? Object type. You are creating one object. You are creating one object of which type? Object type. This is not student type. This is not which type here? Student type, because object is which type? Generic type. Object is which type? generic type. See, generally, JavaScript is a dynamically typed, right? Will you define the type? Will you define the type? No. Suppose there is one type called which one? Object. Using that object type, you can able to create what? Any object. Using object type, you can able to create what? Any object. Suppose using student type, you can create only which object? Student object. Okay, using employee type, you can create only which object? Employee object. But using object type, you can create any object. Now, if you want to create only student object, then I have to build one type. Which type? Student type. Then I have to use what? Class. I have to use which one? Class. So your object is which class? Object is a type and every type is a class. Now, in this case, object is one class or not? Yes. And these are the instances. Student 1 and student 2 are instances of which type? Object type. But it is not of which type? Student type. Now, suppose using this, even I can create let employee 1. Let employee 1. See, this is how you represent the data. Represent the data. How you represent the data? Suppose, for example, employee 1 is there. Employee 1 is having some properties. Employee number. Employee is having employee number. Suppose this is employee number. And employee is having a employee name. And assume that this is the name of the employee. The employee 1 is having which one? Salary. And this you can call it as a salary of the employee. Okay, then I'll try to say console dot log. Okay, employee 1 dot. What you are trying to get? Employee number. Employee 1 dot. What is the type here? Employee name. Employee 1 dot. What you are getting here? Salary. But can you write employee 1 dot roll number? Can I say employee 1 dot roll number? But roll number is a property of employee or student? Student, right? Now in this case, well, it gives the, okay, now you can see, is it defined or undefined? Undefined, because this is not a property of which one? Employee. It is a property of which one? Student. It is not a property of a employee. It is a property of a student. Okay. Yes. Now this is representing object with only a data. This is object only with the data, but you can also represent object with the behavior. See, object type is a generic type. Actually, object type is, okay, generic. Object type is generic type, okay, which is used to create any type of which one? Object. Object type is generic type. Generic means it is not specific to a particular object. Okay, it is a generic type, and this type can be used to create any type of object. So that can be either student object, or that can be either employee object. Okay, so each property in object type hold value. Each property in object type hold value, or it can hold which one? Function. Okay, each property in object type, either it can hold value, or it can hold which one? Function. So function, even you can define the property as what here? Function. This will perform some operation on which one? This will perform some operation on which one? Data. Data means now roll number, name, and course is there. Whenever, suppose I want to write one function, which will return roll number, name, and what? Course. Now student object is having a data, and at the same time, I want to write a function that will return roll number, name, and what? Course. Then you define that as another property or not? Yes. But that property is bind with, okay, that property is bind with what here? Function. And that function will return, or that function will perform operation on which one? Data. Okay. So each property in object type hold value or what? Function. Holds value or function. But how an object type is bind with what? Function. How each property is bind with which one? Function. You can write a function also. See, this is very much useful. Object type. Okay, object type is very much useful in application development, right? Yes, because you see different types of objects, and even you can also develop your own classes. Okay, you can also develop your own classes, and you can write your own properties, and which are bind with different. See here, JavaScript object type contain key and value pair. What is a key? What is a key in this case? Object type hold key and value pair. Now, what is the key? Property. What is the value? Value of that prop. So key and value, which is separated with the, it is a key and value, and it is separated with what here? Colon. It is a key and value which is separated with the colon. So the key is a roll number and value is 102. Now even you can also write, not only that, you can also write which one? Functions. It is not only bind with. Now suppose if we take car is the object, car dot name, car dot model, car dot weight, and car dot color. Car dot start. Start is what? Method. Start is which one? Method. Okay, car dot drive, car dot brake, and car dot which one? Stop. So what is a start, stop? These are called as functions or not? Yes, all these are called as which one? Functions. Here there is a person. Person is an object, and first name, last name, age, and one more is which one? Eye color. Object properties. Here these are the properties, and these are the property values. But how you are accessing it? By saying object name of. You can use object name dot property name, or you can use object name of which name? Property name. Now these are two methods are there. Now object methods also there. Now object can also have a methods. Methods are actions that can be performed on which one? Objects. So methods are stored in properties as what? Function definition. Just now I said it is, see, so a person is having a first name, person is having a last name, person is having a age, person is having eye color, and person is also having one property. What is a property? Full name. But this full name is which type? This full name is bind with what? Function. But this function is anonymous function or not? Yes. But this function is bind with what here? Full name. It means this function is assigned to one property. What is the name of the property? Full name. See, just see here. The property is bind with. The property is bind with either. The property is bind with either value. The property is either bind with what? Function, right? So there is a roll number is there. There's a roll number and there is a course. Okay. So then there is a function. What is a function is? Okay, what is a function is? Okay, some get. So get whose details? Okay, get whose details? Student details. Now get student. What is get student here? Property name. And this get student should return the data of which one? Student. Get student is a property which should return the data of which one? Student. Then I am writing one function. Function. Actually, function should followed by the name or not? Yes. But already one name is given. Can you give two names to the function? No. This function is already given name. What is that name is given? Get student. Then will you give the function name here? No. But this function, see, if you are writing a function without any name, that function is called which function? Anonymous function. Anonymous function means a function which doesn't have any name. A function which doesn't have any name. If the function doesn't have any name, then how you call it? If the function doesn't have any name, how you call it? You cannot call it, right? Because of that anonymous function is assigned to one variable. Because of that anonymous function is assigned to one variable. Is it this variable is treated as what? Property. This variable is treated as what here? Property. What is the name of the property? Get student. Now, whenever I use a property get student, it's calling this function or not? Yes. What this function is doing? What this function is doing? It is returning. What it is returning? What it is returning? Roll number. It's returning what? A roll number. Roll number of which object? Roll number of which object? Student object. How can I refer the roll number of the student object? By using one object called which one? This will refer to which object? Current object. Same thing what you learn in Java. This will refer to which object? Current object. And current object first value is which one? A roll number plus concatenation. Concatenation and this dot. What you are returning here? Name. Then plus this dot. What you are returning here? Course. You are returning roll number, name, and one more is a course. Now, this is a function or not? Yes. But what is the name of the property? Get a student is the name of the property. Okay. But this property will call this property will invoke which one? Function. And this function returns a value. Now, I want to read the values of student. What will I do? Or I want to read the values of student. What will I do? What will I do? Student 1 dot get student. Student 1 dot get student. Get student is calling the function or not? Yes. This function returning how many values? 3 values. Get student is calling the function and that function returns how many values? 3 values it returns. Okay. Yes. Is a function property. Semicolon. What is a semicolon? One more. Oh. Now you can see 101 narration. One more is what? JS. Okay. Now if I remove this, I just write here get student. And is it written? Is it function is called or function reference is old? Function reference. Now, can you say get student is a function object or not? Yes. So in order to call, I should use which one? Parenthesis. So this is written 101 narration JavaScript. So object is not only having properties. Object properties are not only bind with the values. Object properties are not only bind with what? Values. Object properties even bind with which one? Function. Not only bind with the values, it is also bind with what? Functions. Right? Just here. Okay. Yeah. Please just try to understand this. How to work with the object types. Okay. So let employee 1. So equal to. So there is a properties like employee number. This is the employee number. And there is a property called employee name. And this is an employee name here. Okay. So there is a property called which one? There is a property called which one? Salary. And there is a property called get. So there is a property called get employee number. So there is a function. And this function returns this dot. This dot what? Employee number. This dot employee number. So get employee name and this function returns. This function returns this dot which one? Employee name. This dot employee name and there is a get salary. So there is a function which return this will refer to which object? Current object and return which one? Salary. So this is an object with some properties, right? If you want to get console dot log, I'm just writing here employee 1 dot get employee number. Okay. So again console dot log employee 1 dot get what is this? Employee name. So I try to get the employee number. I try to get the employee name and console dot log employee one dot get what I'm trying to get here, salary. So get a employee number, get employee name, and one more is a get a salary. You can see 101 narration 50,000, right? So each property either bind with a value, each property either bind with a value, or each property either bind with what? Bind with a value or bind with a function. But this is generic type or not? Yes. But I want to develop my own type. I want to develop my own type, custom type. Yes or no? Then what you do it? You go for writing your own class. Class is building which data type? Or a class is building which data type? User defined data type. When existing data types doesn't fulfill your requirement, then you build your own data types, and that data types you call it as which data types? User defined data types. So how to build user defined data types? I'll explain this, but not today, but tomorrow I'll tell you that. And even tomorrow I'll start, because JavaScript, again object oriented means again you learn encapsulation, polymorphism, and one more is what? Inheritance. Listen, see, JavaScript is never ended. Okay, now lot of things are there in the JavaScript, but our intention is using JavaScript with what? HTML. But as a JavaScript developer, you must know certain things, right? So most of the things I said, with this knowledge, we can just implement JavaScript with what? HTML. But even though I'll tell you how to develop your own class and how to create your own objects by using that class, and then we say, we just move from JavaScript with what? HTML, right? Yes, maybe tomorrow I'll start how to work with the JavaScript with the HTML, right? But till now, what you learn is only JavaScript, and how to write the script, how to create variables, how to create functions, how to create arrays, how to create types. Okay, now there are different types of functions and different types of scopes. Okay, now right. So maybe tomorrow I'll tell you